Well, like a Dumbo, I haven't drilled that hole, which I should have done before I fixed it to the frame, because I've glued it on. I've got to put bolts through here, but I've glued it on, and now I've got no means of drilling that hole absolutely at right angles to the piece of wood. So I'm really chuffed about that. Anyway, I'll get over it somehow. Now this is the steel ring that there's two of these. One sits on the upper body, and this one sits on this carriage, which sits on these frames, sits on these springs. I haven't quite finished the springs. The spring hangers needed over there, and on the back. This one doesn't need this one's riveted on. It doesn't need to be flexible. It pivots, obviously pivots, but that one's got to have a spring hanger on it, because the spring will move in. You know, it will flex. So that goes on. That goes underneath this frame. Both these bits of steel, and they'll be bolted all the way through, all the way along. So it adds strength to the undercarriage for the shafts, and there'll be a rod all the way from there to the back here. So the shafts are not just pulling on this, which is just called the splinter bar. I think for the reason is that probably it does get broken, because it's got tongue and groove mortise and tenons in here, in those four joints, but obviously with the steel plates under here bolted on, it'd be very strong. And it's starting to get a little bit weighty now, but anyway. It's the hole in the middle I'm a bit annoyed about, not having drilled it first like a wally. Anyway, I've also worked out that the screws on the plates don't want to be in the centre of the bar, because the screws on the upper plate, if anything happens or they come loose, and they will conflict with the screws on the lower plate, so they might just snag up, and then it will cause a problem because this whole lot's got to turn. So on this bottom plate, I'm going to put the screws on the outside, and on the top plate, I'm going to put the screws on the inside, so that they always rub in on a smooth surface. So at least I've thought that out, instead of having to drill this bloody hole.